Happy Friday, Rachel. She's always one of the first ones on. We love that. Cardinal and Zoltan. Cool. Oh, hi. I was saying hi back. Happy Friday. Hey, Donna. Ready for Freaky Friday? I know Donna's hoping for some tarantulas. It's like she can never get enough. Some people are, you know, fun like that. So it is Friday, I think. Yeah. Anybody else having these days of the week just flow together right about now?
Emily and Trinity say hi.
Emily, Trinity, hi, and hi. Where's everybody saying hi from? I've learned by now Rachel is from Oregon. I know that doesn't narrow down a whole lot, but that's broad. That's good enough for us. Lillian Felix in Tennessee. Wow, thanks for watching. Probably don't see a lot of these creatures in Tennessee. A little bit too humid there. Well, you might. Oh, I see from Yuma.
Caitlin is from Oregon.
Caitlin from Oregon. Hi.
Hi from Phoebe and Raiden.
All right. Hi, Phoebe and Raiden. All right. Well, everything's rolling good on your guys' end? Everybody can hear my shout outs, right? Throw a thumbs up if you can, if we have audio, then we know we can get started. So. And we got a couple more. Hi from Chandler. That's, yep, Donna. Hi from Chandler. And Anna and Casa Grande. I have to say it like I'm an outsider. Those that lived here forever, we say Casa Grande. But I shouldn't show that on the web because now you guys all get the local prices when you come to town instead of the tourist prices. So, with that being said, all right. I wasn't really getting anything from my magic non-Alexa thing, but I'm guessing that the thumbs up means that everybody was hearing us and we got audio and we're good to go? All right. Well, with that being said, what are you looking at here? I know some of you know. Nobody actually made any guesses on any of our previous posts, whether educated guesses or otherwise, which I will say I like about my fans. You guys seem to be very science-based people. We put something out, and generally speaking, we don't have people going, hey, I think that is a rattlesnake, and it's actually a lizard of some sort or something. Just throwing out guesses. You see that on a lot of sites sometimes. People ask, what is this? And they're asking for expert advice, and then somebody who doesn't really know anything is throwing stuff out. So you guys have been really good, and I do appreciate that. What you're looking at here, if you haven't quite figured it out, nobody's guessing. That's right. That is a weird creature.
Thelliphonida. Coughlin says a Thelliphonida.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks for yep, it's not that. How's that? Yeah. We're not going to answer that way, Bob. Yeah. But we'll go with that. You might be close, actually, because I'm not actually looking at the word, and that's how I know the scientific name. So, with all that being said, you're looking at a vinegaroon. And the vinegaroon is a pretty cool creature. I don't know if you could actually see the size very well from any of the pictures, but this is a vinegaroon. The vinegaroon is actually a type of arachnid, and it's a type of arachnid that, can you see? Okay. It's a type of arachnid. When you think of arachnids, most people think of spiders. And there's actually a lot of things that are in that same group. We have spiders, and then there's scorpions, there's ticks, there's mites, there's vinegaroons, and a few others we're going to talk about here. Vinegaroons are actually a type of whipscorpion. That got the name because they kind of look like a scorpion with these little pincher things that aren't really pincher things, and they look like they have a tail they can whip with. No stinger on there. I think you can see that tail pretty well though, right? The vinegaroon, being an arachnid, he's got 2 body parts and 8 legs. You can count them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2 body parts, the abdomen, the cephalothorax. But they also have the clarissa hanging out the front here. Now, sometimes on spiders, those look like legs. On tarantulas, some of them, they're more like just little bumpy arm things. And in the vinegaroon, they're these big, scarian, alien, grabby things. I mean, this looks like something from another planet. And let's see if we can get this to show you. There you go. You can kind of see it's got some nice pokey thing. And even with those, it doesn't hurt. It looks like you just grab me and puncture my skin and tear my finger off and eat it. But that's not really what's going to happen here. They use that for grabbing their food, which is why we like the vinegaroon. Because just like any arachnid, they like to eat bugs. The crickets, the cockroaches, the beetles. These guys will eat smaller scorpions. They'll eat centipedes. And of course, all that is out there helping us and working out very, very well. Now, the vinegaroon, he's out there eating the bugs. He's got his little alien grabby things for grabbing onto his food and then putting him into his mouth. I don't know that this guy will actually get his mouth or his clarissa out of the way so you can see that. But he does have a little mouth in there, and he grabs these, puts it in there, and bites off pieces, much like a scorpion would do. But if he's out walking around looking for food, other animals are doing the same thing, right? He's not the top of the food chain. Many things are going to try and eat this. A lot of the mammals out there will. A lot of the owls and things like that will. Also, things like big scorpions, big centipedes, tarantulas, and so on. But let's say he's out walking around. Let's say a fox or a coyote comes up to him. We'll say a fox, because we all know what a fox is. And we don't know what it says, but we know what it is, right? But a fox sees this. A fox isn't thinking big and scary like you and I. He's thinking dinner, and he wants to try and eat it. Well, as he comes up to it to try and eat it, the vinegaroon, well, he's got a little trick up his sleeve. He's got a very super cool superpower. You see, what he does, he takes that long, skinny tail of his, and he points it at whatever's coming at him. So if he's coming up there, all of a sudden, that is pointing straight at him. So he's coming from this side, pointing that way. Comes from this side, pointing that way. And he's pointing that at whatever's coming at him. And if it gets too close, he shoots out of his tail. Not like fireworks. That would be super cool. Well, not right now, because he would probably shoot me in the eye, and it'd be great for you guys on that side of it. But he actually sprays. It's like a water cannon. That's right. This long, skinny tail is a long, skinny tube that he aims at whatever's coming at him and then sprays. But it's not water. It's not pee either. I know some of you were thinking that. What else are you going to do with that? But he's actually shooting out of there a type of acid. 2 different acids that when they mix together, they smell like vinegar. That's where it got the name vinegaroon. It shoots vinegar out of its tail. Now tell me that's not the craziest thing ever right there. Now, of course, I know you're thinking, well, what happens when we get down here? Will he actually? Yeah, this guy sometimes, I don't want it in the face because this doesn't work well. It gets in your eye. You ever had vinegar in your eyes? Yeah. It's bad enough in your nose, right? Or on your hands. How many have ever smelled vinegar before? If you've ever smelled vinegar, you know that's not really, good stuff to have. Well, okay. I'm not a big fan of vinegar. I know vinegar can be good in some things. I kind of like it in pickles sometimes and such. But I'm not a big vinegar guy. And some of you maybe have eaten some of those potato chips. Salt and vinegar flavored potato chips. Yeah, give me the thumbs up if you guys like those salt and vinegar flavored potato chips. Yeah. And all those people, you guys are weird. That's just wrong. You're not supposed to. It doesn't taste. I'm not a fan. A lot of my family is. I'm not. But in any case, the vinegar. Let's say that you're at lunch today. You decide to have some of those. Oh, I want some salt and vinegar flavored chips. And so you open the bag, and when you open that, you get sprayed in the face with vinegar. You're probably not thinking, I think I'll eat these anyway. Yeah, you're probably going, what went wrong here? We better take these back and replace them. So getting that vinegar shot in the face, not going to work very well for whatever's trying to eat it. Of course, it works great for the vinegaroon by being able to do that. In fact, sometimes if I touch it just right, it will actually, yep, there we, actually, I don't know if you can see that. Whew, yeah, it smells like vinegar. Wait, yeah, a little more. Whew, okay. I don't know, you can't really, I don't think you can really see the vinegar on there. Sometimes there's little droplets. It's such a spray that it's really hard to see when it shoots. Aim that way. No, aim at them, not at me. There we go. It's like, shoot the vinegar now. Yeah, that'd be kind of cool. I don't know if it will. Then we have to wash the screen off, though. Yeah, we won't do that. In any case, the vinegaroon is one of these creatures that a lot of people have never heard of, and by looking at it, they're thinking, I don't want to mess with that. They think it's a scorpion of some sort, or they think it's some kind of alien creature that's going to attack you and eat you. It's not. It's very beneficial, totally harmless, can't even do any damage other than squirt vinegar at you. But hey, some of you need a little seasoning on your salad anyway, right? Yeah, it works out great. You get that sub, you're like, we're out of vinegar. Aha, yes, you got it covered. Like, literally. Works out well. But the thing is that a lot of people have heard of a vinegaroon, but they've never seen one. And so they confuse it with other similarly creepy creatures. And I want to set the record straight here. First off, these guys, vinegaroons, are found all over the world, usually in a desert or forest environment, semi-tropical, subtropical type situations. We do have them here in Arizona, but not here in Arizona. I live in the low desert area here, all right? We're not going to find the vinegaroon right here in this area. Some of our low desert areas, yes, but more of an upper desert area, and on hillsides and such is where you'll find the vinegaroon. Up into our forested areas, transition zone, and our mountains, that's where you're going to find the vinegaroon here in Arizona. But one of the issues is that people have heard of this, they know it's out there, and there's all kinds of stories about it, right? There's stories like if you were to kill one of these and it smells like vinegar for like a year or something. I don't know. There's all kinds of weird stuff that can happen with it. And if you touch one, you get a vinegar flavor in your mouth for the next day or two or something. And I guess all that, if you got it and licked it, yeah, it could. But vinegaroons generally look like you're looking at here, okay? Now, yeah, there's about 100 species of vinegaroons in... put this guy down here for you. There's about 100 species of vinegaroons on the planet. We only have a few here in the U.S. And I mentioned that they are insectivores. That's our big word that everybody's learning, right? They like to eat insects, and that's why we like them. Of course, these guys, being an arachnid, most arachnids lay eggs. Now, there's a few that don't, the scorpions being one of those, but most of them lay eggs. And when vinegaroons lay their eggs, usually they have about 30 or so eggs. They lay the eggs, they actually produce them inside, and then when the eggs are laid, they're in this little kind of gelatinous type thing stuck to the bottom. Actually, underneath the abdomen is where they'll carry about 30 babies. And of course, they're very safe there, because who's going to eat those little eggs when you've got, you know, vinegar spraying, alien hand face looking thing here, right? Yeah. Now, these guys can live, a male vinegaroon will live about 10 years, a female about 20. Yeah, so about twice as long. Probably because the male doesn't want to live as long. They hang out together enough, he's like, oh, she's just going on and on and on. Kill me. No, they're just a longer lived, which works out well because they're the ones that then are carrying the eggs, and works out well for the species. But one of the things you may notice is these extra long legs here. When you count the legs, there's, oh, it's an insect that has 6 legs and 2 antennae. No, that's where it gets confusing. Well, these are actually legs, but these front pair of legs are very, very sensitive. They can feel with this, and that helps with predators. If he's just walking along and he touches, he goes, oh, I don't want to mess with that. Something's sneaking up on him, and that's why they're much longer. If it sticks those out, there you go. See, he's trying to feel. What is that? What touched me? It wants to feel. No stinger, no nothing there. It's definitely something that makes it look a little creepy. But once again, there's other creatures that can get kind of confused with the vinegaroons. But the vinegaroon is found in Arizona in a little bit higher elevation areas in the southern part of the state. And I think I got... Yeah, sprayed me again. Okay, thanks. Hey, stay in there, buddy. We'll get back to you maybe. But there's another creature we have that I think is even just as scary looking, or at least can be. This is one that a lot of people see and they go, oh, it's a vinegaroon. No, it's not. I think you can see the difference between these two pretty well. You see, this is a solpugid. Now, the solpugid is an animal that's in the Solpugids family. You probably know it by yet another name. Some people know it as a sun spider. Some know it as a wind scorpion. Some of you may know it as a camel spider. That's the name they had in the Middle East, and now that's caught on here. Sun scorpion is a name. And of course, my favorite is Jerry Munglum. That's what I like to call him. Jerry Munglum. That's I don't know who came up with that name, but let's be honest, it was probably somebody walking along, saw one of those, and just screamed out loud, Jerry Munglum! And they're like, what? That thing there? That. And they couldn't talk anymore. But look how defensive he is. I don't know if you can see the jaws on this guy right down. Oh, sorry, my bad. He ran off the screen because I touched him. Hopefully you can see these little jaws right here. The Jerry Munglum, the sun spider, the solpugid, it has 4 pointy jaw things, and it can bite up and down wise, and it can bite side to side wise. So he can go click, click, click this way, or he can go up and down. But you'll notice that he is an arachnid. That's right. He actually has the 8 legs, 2 of which are the legs in the front that you can see are super sensitive again. Just something touch him and he's bouncing around going, hey, I'm going to attack you and eat your face off. So he doesn't have a tail, all right? He doesn't have any actual claws other than, yeah, he does have those big pointy things there. Now, the solpugid, very interesting creature, lives in the desert areas, right? These guys are found right here in our low deserts. They don't live near as long as a vinegaroon. A year is a long-lived. That's an old solpugid. If you find one that's this big, it's probably getting close to that and probably near the end of its life. Well, most of you run into that in your yard. That is the end of its life, right? One of you's dying. That's just what goes down. We know how that works. But these guys, they're out there eating a lot of bugs, but they don't need water. They don't even drink water. They get all of the liquid that they need from the insects and such things that they eat. They eat a lot of grasshoppers and crickets. They'll have beetles and stuff, just like any of the other insectivores that are in the arachnid family. Now, solpugids, there's about 1,000 different species of solpugids on the planet. And that's why it has so many different names. Depending on where you're at, you might call it one thing, you might call it another. But you can see he's also pretty fast. Now, the vinegaroon can move when he wants to, but not like the solpugid. Now, you can see the similarities. Color, to me, is a big difference, all right? Solpugids are light. They're that yellow, that tan color. And the vinegaroon, of course, being just that jet black. We'll get... No, put your face back down. You see how active this guy is? He is just really wanting to move. But they spend a lot of time underground. These guys will actually bury a hole in the... or dig a hole and bury themselves in and stay underground until it's good weather to come out and look for food. And that's when they get real active. And by active, you can kind of see what I'm talking about here. This guy is just going crazy. And you get the idea. This thing running across your kitchen floor, that's going to change your day a bit. And I really, the thing that gets me is that his face looks like something you would think Hollywood would use a lot more for some kind of alien monster creature or something. I don't know if we'll be able to see that. I'm going to try and grab and give you a close-up look of that face, because to me, that's the scary part. Plus, if we get him to stop moving a little, you can actually see his eyes. But I'm going to try and get this guy. Look at that. I don't know if you can see... right in here, look at that. Yeah, he's just grabbing and attacking this. You can see all 4 of those big, sharp jaw muscles going in. There we go. Right there. You see that? He's got, yeah, look at that face. That looks alien-like. See how he kind of scissors them back and forth? You grab onto something. Yeah. Very, very efficient predator right there for being a little guy. And I say little guy because, well, I mean, look at my thumb there. He's actually, look at this, trick photography up close. Yeah, I don't know if that's where, see all the hair all over? Yeah, they can feel that. I mean, this guy right here, just touched it, whoa, it barely touched the hair, and now he's ready to bite your face off. That's right. So he's not something you'd want to wake up with in your bed. By the way, they don't get like, 6 inches, a foot long. There are some... forced perception pictures that have made their way around the internet of these guys where if I hold it out here, You go, man, that thing's as big as my head. Don't look at the size of my super huge fingers all of a sudden, but if I hold it in here and hold it out there, you have no idea, and it makes him look way bigger. But this is actually very good size for a solpugid. And oh, look at that face, just going crazy. Okay, well, so these guys, as mean as they look and as aggressive as they are, the mothers are very maternal. Yeah, the vinegaroon, it gets the babies, carries them on, or the eggs, gets them on the bottom, and then they hatch and they kind of go off on their own. No, the solpugid here, it actually digs a burrow, and then it lays its eggs in there. And it'll have sometimes up to 200 eggs. Usually, well, depending on the species, it can be as much as 20 or 30. It can be as much as 200. And all of these eggs then are in a little area down in a burrow. And then when they hatch, the mother actually keeps them in there, runs out and gets food, brings it back in and shares it with them. And then they can have food until they get big enough to go off on their own. So you're looking at a creature that doesn't even live a year, ends up usually only having maybe 100 babies, but takes good care of them so that majority of them get a good start in life. And that's one way to do it. So it's not up to every female to have thousands and thousands of babies if they can take care of them. So I know you're thinking, wait a minute here, how'd you like to have that as your mom? Yeah, that looks scary, but she doesn't eat the babies. She feeds the babies and works out well. Now I'm going to rotate. I don't know if you can see the eyes on the top there. But there's actually a few eyes. That little dark spot right there. You can can you see? I don't know how good we can see close up. This is probably closer than any of you ever want to get to a solpugid here. And look at that. All right. So they do have eyes. They can hear and feel sound waves and such. Taste, not so much on them, but they're very tactile, meaning they're feeling. They're not smelling anything really, but they're feeling with all their hairs. All right, got a couple questions about the solpugid, and then we'll take the Who Wants to See Wild Man Phil Get Bit by a Solpugid thing. Totally kidding, don't even ask.
With the name, like sun scorpion, whipscorpion, are they venomous?
Very good question. They do not have a venom. No, it's the names, the common names are because they're so different. They're like, is that a scorpion or is that a spider? It's neither one, but it's very easy to confuse them. It looks like a scorpion when it's moving real fast with these things out front, and its coloration looks like a spider. Of course, the sun part, I think, is because they're found in desert areas. I don't know where any of these things, I mean, like Jerry Munglum. Once again, we don't know where this all came from. Camel spider? That makes kind of sense. They're found where camels are found and they look like spiders. But they don't have a venom like a spider or a scorpion at all. So yes, very, very good question. So the solpugid, we're going to go ahead and try and drop this guy back down. You may get to see what the bite looks like. It is fairly painful, by the way. There we go. We got you back in there. Look at that. It's like, hey, why are you manhandling me? Yeah, I'm going to run away from you, Wild Man Phil. Whoa, good. You're good in there? Okay. Well, let's see, we can still see that. So, the solpugid is quite a bit different looking than the vinegaroon, and pretty easy to tell apart now that you know the difference. And a lot of people, they're actually, confused between them. Like I said, I have a lot of people that I see that they think this is a vinegaroon, and it'll spray and make you taste like vinegar and all that kind of thing. But really, there's quite a bit of difference. But as if you're not confused enough, there's one more that you might run into and find yourself saying, so is that a vinegaroon or a solpugid? That's this guy here. Guess what? It's neither one. Yeah. Yet again, another arachnid, another group of arachnids that just looks scary and freaky and like it will attack you, and that you're glad they're not the size of horses, because then it would attack you and eat you. Yeah. But it's one of those things that looks like a spider, because it's an arachnid. What is it? I know you're kind of wondering here. It's actually closer related to the vinegaroon, but not really. It's actually a tailless whipscorpion. Nice long word there. The tailless whipscorpion is this spider. I'm going to try and get this guy to run down onto my arm there, apparently. Try and get it where you can see it a little better here. There we go. And if you look closely, it has little alien hands as well. the little alien hands here. I don't know if this one will actually stick them out, but let's see. See, they're folded up right now. So it's an arachnid, 2 body parts, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 legs. But once again, the front pair of legs, look at that. Long, skinny, and tactile, meaning that just touching it, it knows, hey, there's something out there. That's funny because it's metal, it doesn't know. Touch it here, you see, he's like, huh, what is that thing? Well, of course, he's out there eating bugs. He's an insectivore, as we expect all of the arachnids to be, correct? He's out there eating the crickets, the cockroaches, the beetles, and that sort of thing. Oh, but look, he's a climber. They like to live on rocks and trees. Yes, so he's quite a bit different. Do we have them here in our low deserts in Arizona? Yes, we do. That's right. Do we have them in our mountain areas? Yes, we do. These guys, instead of living on trees here in the desert, they live in rocky areas. Sometimes in flat areas next to the mountain where there's some holes they can hide in, but they like to hide, and they like to hide this direction instead of flat. And in a lot of places where they live, they'll go under loose bark and they'll hide right in that little tiny gap in there, and it works out very well. In fact, to molt their skin, they have to have vertical surfaces. They have to be able to go up onto it and then kick their skin. He'd actually be facing this way, and he would shed his molt his skin by shedding it off, and it would just fall right down. And he has to use that. That's very uncomfortable for me, so we'll go back this way. As far as the tailless whipscorpion goes, there's actually about 150 different species throughout the world. This one that you're looking at here is not the largest by any means. This is kind of an average size for a tailless whipscorpion. But some of them, like over in Africa, they can get to be, see how they're kind of wider? They're more crab-shaped. They're more wide than long. I would have to hold him this way for you to see it, and he would be almost as wide as my hand and about as tall. So about the size of my hand this way. In fact, how many out there have seen, there was a 75-part series called Harry Potter. I don't know how many they're up to now. I'm completely lost, but I'm going to go with my anti-Alexa app over here says 8 maybe. So is there... Those that watched yesterday, we had that whole translation thing. So, yeah, there might be somebody in here who actually knows a lot about Harry Potter. I'm not it. But there is one of them that I could probably throw out and you guys could name for me. Number 4, and that one in there, there's a scene that I remember because it involved a cool creature. And in that scene, they ended up doing this thing. You had the scary creature, but then they did a magical spell or something. Ended up dying. And be honest, you cried. Yeah, and then you felt silly later. You're like, that's the ugliest creature I've ever seen. And I was sad that it died. Well, you should have been. He was out there trying to help you. But the one they used in the movie was a tailless whipscorpion. That's why it looks familiar for you. But it was a lot bigger, wasn't it? No CGI there. No need when you have the real thing here on our planet. By the way, once again, they lay eggs, and they're more like a vinegaroon. They actually will carry their babies underneath them in a little pouch, and these guys can have anywhere from 5 or 6 babies up to 40 or 50, depending on the species, amount of food, and a lot of those kind of things. So definitely works well. So let's say it's out walking around, something else is looking for food. They're going to try and eat this guy. Well, what's he going to do to protect himself? First off, he's going to probably start with casting a spell on humans, being on the other... Oh, no. I totally made that up. They don't do magic. No. But they will run. And they'll hide in the nearest crack they can get into. And I'm not going to show you how fast they run, but they can actually run very fast, especially on surfaces. If I want him to move, boop, he would suddenly be down here. Probably hide up in here. That would be great for you, not for me. We're not going to do it. But let's grab him to see if we can get him to show you his alien spiky hand things. So let's see if I can get this guy to pin down here. And the nice thing about one that's been in captivity is that he's not trying to run away near as bad. I'm going to very lightly grab it here, and then I'm going to see. You can tell I'm a very, very skilled photographer. I'm totally messing with her today. Look at that. I don't know if you guys can. It's not one to open them too much today, but when it does, look at those. You see that? Look at that little arm thing right there. And look at the tip of it. There's an actual little point. Looks like maybe a stinger. It does not have a venom that he's going to inject into you or anything. But if you were to mess with him and have him grab onto you, Well, this one doesn't really want to. He's just too used to people. He knows that I'm really not going to eat him. He doesn't know that we're having jambalaya for lunch and that I ran out of crawfish. And now he's not really wanting to open, but you can kind of get the idea there. And some of the bigger ones especially, they can actually poke you pretty good with that. And I think everybody can see that pretty well. Yeah, you don't really want that stuck into you. But you can imagine that working pretty well. But mostly what is that for? Grabbing the food. That's right. This guy grabs onto that bug, grabs onto it, can't get away, puncturing it with that, gripping on hard, then he just goes ahead and starts eating it. So let's see if he'll not show you how fast he is again. Thank you. Yes, very, very good. Stay. I've been working with this guy for a long time now to get him understand. Actually, they can't really, I mean, they can hear sounds, but that's about it. Once again, all of these are very, remember our T word today, tactile, meaning they use their feeling, their sense of feel more than anything else. And you can definitely see him reacting as I touch these. He's like, hey, something's out there. Touch this one, he might move that way. This one, not so much. But here, yeah, works out well. All right. By the way, a tailless whipscorpion average usually lives about 15 years. Pretty good for a bug when you think about it, huh? Yeah. And of course, remember, if you find yourself ever face to face with a tailless whipscorpion, hope that his cholesterol are not out there grabbing you in the face. And I know you're thinking, oh, how does that work? We're not going to show you that today. I know. We leave that for others. But with that being said, I hope that now you understand that if you see something in your house, it might be a vinegaroon, depending on where you live. It might be a solpugid. It might be a tailless whipscorpion. By the way, if it's up on the wall, it's probably a tailless whipscorpion. But I have seen solpugids up on walls. Vinegaroons, very, very unlikely. I have seen them up on rocks and things, but they're kind of a little heavy of a creature for doing all that. Of course, the biggest thing is coloration. Solpugids are tan. Tailless whipscorpions and whipscorpions, the vinegaroon, they're black. Let's see if we can put these all next to each other for a nice closing shot to see the difference between all three of these nightmares. Yeah, so I think we might be able to see them together here, and there you go. Pretty easy to tell them apart when you look at them this way, right? Yeah. So from left to right, you've got the tailless whipscorpion. In the middle, you have the solpugid, the sun spider, the camel spider, the, yeah, you know I want to say it, Gerrymunglum. And of course, the vinegaroon, who I don't think is going to spray at the camera anymore. So with that being said, I'm going to close this guy up because you've already, I know that question, which one of those do you not like the most? Well, you can tell. These ones I'll hold no problem. Solpugid, not so much, okay? Mostly because he's just really always kind of flighty. With that being said, I do want to thank you guys. I know it's Friday. We get a few days off from doing all this. We counted it up, and this is our 25th episode today. That's incredible, and thank you guys for bearing with us. Also, thank you for those that have helped financially. It is truly, truly appreciated. Once again, I'll mention for those that have ordered the Wildman Phil swag on wildmanphil.shop. That's our online store. Just got some information in today that yes, everything's going to be out early next week. I think I mentioned if on your order there was a Stumpy the Tortoise shirt, you probably haven't received your order yet because we had to do a rerun of those. There was so many people asking for them. So thank you for the support there. Next week we're going to probably start changing things up a bit, and we're going to kind of move things from Facebook over to the other platform of YouTube. Yes, we asked everybody to help us out with YouTube by getting enough subscribers that we can actually go live on YouTube right now. So we're going to try that out. Hopefully it'll go that direction well, because we need much hours of people watching for us to be able to do anything financially and to do all the extra cool stuff you get to do on YouTube. But I do want to thank our sponsor, Abiding Impression, for the shirts and for the online store and making that all possible. Once again, a big shout out to Brave Wilderness and the crew there for their unwavering support, always helping and helping promote us and do everything that they do. So with that, I do want to thank you guys a lot, and if you think these are cool and you want to have one of these creepy creatures as a pet, Get with me. Maybe I'll throw in the comments a couple places once again where they do sell these. Most any of your reptile and exotic pet stores will have them. Here in Casa Grande, I know that you can get either of these at the Unique Aquariums and a lot of places in the Phoenix area, but definitely check that out. So thanks again. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Monday, we're doing a little fun. We're going to talk about some lizards you may have heard of, called geckos. That's what's next on the list. So we'll talk about a few different types of geckos, and we'll have a fun time next week. So thanks again. We'll let you get. I hope you enjoyed it. Remember, Monday morning, 11 o'clock Arizona time, right here on the Facebook Live, and we'll look at more fun creatures that aren't quite as creepy as these.